Good afternoon, everyone. Today we're going to... Wait, wrong channel. What's up, fuckers? It's update time again. Is this an update? Is this an update? What's update? Update? Update is new shaders. I can't wait to hear people still say that standoff looks so much better. Update is also new body damage multiplayer. It's a bit hard to understand, so really basic example. If I shoot down here and the bullet connects with the upper back, then goes through... And when it finally ends up here, the two hits that connect are the body hit here and the body hit here. Update is also armor and weapon changes. Before, a single MR shot used to... and left you with no Kevlar. This is now fixed. You might actually keep your armor if you survive the round, and you can repair it. For weapons, well, shit doesn't two-shot anymore. That's it. That's the revolutionary weapons update. There's also a brand new aspect ratio setting, so that you can either or your gameplay. There's also player colors now, so you can you can also see the abominations that other players use for crosshairs, and you can copy them right from their profile. Oh, I wonder what his crosshair... Hey, no! There are also some ranked eligibility changes, so you can now play with 199 ping on a 49-hour-old account and with 501 kill. I am sure that will fix the issue. There's also improved air strafing, so you can break people's ankles more efficiently, and a much improved character ground detection, which allows you to... No, wait. And of course, cannons has also been updated. Now they only need to fix Nah, but like, let's actually play some TDM and talk about it. Like, first of all, I am proud of the community for like receiving this update as well as they did. Because, like, I fully expected like a heavy Kevlar type of thing to happen again, where it's like, okay, people don't really see the promising aspects of the update, and it's more like, oh, this feels different to what we're used to. So rather than assuming the updated version as the new normal and then making changes on that based on how you feel, it would more be like, oh, we want the old version back, and then maybe make like super small changes to that. And usually that's how the game breaks. Crosshair smoothing had that issue once it was reverted. Heavy Kevlar is obviously what caused the original bad state for the Kevlar and everything to begin with. Like, how that was reverted was like not particularly smart or not particularly well thought out, and it probably wasn't expected for that to not be revisited for as long as it was. So yeah, but we will get into that again in like a few seconds. Let me first address the elephant in the room. So it's kind of in the middle between two updates. Like, I never know when updates come out, sometimes to the detriment of my content, where it's like, oh yeah, by the way, update like in 3 days. So you could put a gun to my head. I couldn't tell you when the next update's coming out, but I'm guessing like it's 3-4 weeks away. And as a result of that, you might be wondering, why the fuck are you making like a video like in the middle between two updates rather than like a proper update video? And well, the reason for that is I worked in the official video and I moved. So in short, I wanted to make my own update video, as I have done with most of the most recent updates. Even if it was shorter videos, this is something I've enjoyed doing, something that was received well, and something that was a matter of creativity as well, because I could do something interesting with it, maybe look at the update in different ways compared to other creators. That's kind of what I planned this time as well. But what ended up happening was that Critical Force reached out to Parts with me, and they wanted us to make an official update video. So that kind of ate up more time than I thought it would. And as a result of that, we barely finished that video before my whole moving drama started. That whole moving drama took longer than I thought it would as well. And so I just never really got time to work on my video. But alongside what I had to do, the scope of my video also changed quite a bit. Like, originally I just wanted to make a video similar to the ones that I made previously. But after I had worked so much on the official one, like, this video effectively turned into like a summary of all the completely batshit ideas that I had for the official video, which we obviously couldn't like do. Like, you can't make an Epstein joke, let alone 15, in an official update video. That's not something that's gonna happen. What the fuck is wrong with me? Basically, that expanded like how complex my own video would end up becoming, which was basically 100 hours, 150 maybe of work on like a minute 30 of video, which I love making that type of content, but it's probably the last time that I make like that large of a video just for shits and giggles as like an intro, right? Like if Critical Force ever wants something like that, I could make it. It would be stupid, but I could. But like for myself, I like having like short 10-second-ish intros that's manageable. But what I ended up doing with this like was way beyond anything that's like even remotely reasonable for a normal video. So probably the last of its kind, at that scale at least. We finished the official video right around the time that beta came out. Then I moved. So, I know you didn't care probably, but everything's fine on that front, so happy. There will definitely be more videos in the future, but I'm not quite sure on what I want to do, what scale, how often. You may have seen in the last few months I tried shorts. I like what they do for the channel, but I don't particularly like how repetitive it feels to make them. I will continue making shorts, most likely, but I don't want it to boil down to what it was like very recently, which was basically just a set of clips with music on it. Like, I want some amount of like commentary or like voice chat stuff or anything. Like, I will step away from making them daily and make one like every few days, maybe once a week, depending on how much content I get, just from organically playing. Like, I don't want to go through my old clip folder and like shoehorn something together just to have a shorts upload. That's not where I see this channel going the way things currently stand. Not saying this can't change in the future, but that's just the way I feel about it currently. But that's enough about me and my shenanigans, so we need to get back to like seals. So as I said, I was very proud of the community for how the update was received, how there was more focus, for the most part at least. I mean, comp kinda overreacted, I feel, but for the most part we had the community just accepting that the update came, the update was necessary for the most part, and that I can't aim, that the changes that should be done to it, or perhaps that there were a few pain points with it, but they were waiting for fix. The fix came fairly quickly, and I think the game is in a fairly decent state the way things currently stand, at least as far as gameplay is concerned. There are other issues, of course, which will hopefully be addressed in the future. We can talk about that for a minute or two as well in a second. So the only thing that I feel kind of stands as criticism right now after the SMG update is the whole, yo, gun XYZ doesn't deal damage, or gun this is bad, or that shoots water, that's a water gun, or that shoots marginals. Like, I think a ton of players who just haven't been around prior to Heavy Kevlar, or weren't as proficient at the game prior to Heavy Kevlar perhaps, they don't understand just how broken, like, what we consider, or what they consider normal, like just how broken that all was for the last couple of years. Like, as I said before, what we had as a normal state for Kevlar was basically reverting Heavy Kevlar within a week or so, with like half of it still being broken and not really fitting the other. Basically leaving it there to be revisited later, and that later didn't come for like 3 years. That's the state it was in. As I said, I don't think people even understand just how broken it was. So for better understanding, why don't we just quickly go through the whole Heavy Kevlar thing? Because I don't think I've ever like talked about that in retrospect. If you see a Kevlar change, like Heavy Kevlar, it's never really just, oh, they changed some numbers with like armor penetration or whatever. Like, such a major rework also comes with many other factors, like gun damage, like penetration values on different body parts and all of that stuff. And Heavy Kevlar had all of these things very obviously tuned to favor, you know, Heavy Kevlar. So when Heavy Kevlar was removed, and we got this pretty much, I don't even know what to call it, like, what then became normal Kevlar, which was basically some aspects of light Kevlar mixed with some aspects of Heavy Kevlar. Like, that was never designed with these gun values in mind. So what that ended up basically was that Kevlar had a very low penetration value. So basically, if you wanted tons of damage while the player is wearing Kevlar, you needed like a ton of damage without Kevlar, like a disproportionately high amount. And what that basically meant was that in order to make the SG deal like 30 damage with Kevlar on, you need to go to like crazy amounts, like 50, 60 damage in some cases. With the revolver even more so, where it was like 98 damage without armor to the body, like ludicrous numbers just to enable like what was previously considered a normal amount of damage. That all broke Kevlar because the durability. And the way that durability is calculated in like basically all games that feature Kevlar that is breakable, like CS, like Valorant, I think has a more simplified mechanic with the shield. But the way that CS does it, the way that COPS does it, probably the way that Standard does it as well, is that there's basically a formula that takes damage with Kevlar, damage without Kevlar, and then some factor in there. And basically the difference between those two, again multiplied with some other factor, every game does it a little differently, and that difference becomes durability loss. So what basically happened was that there was now a insanely high damage without Kevlar in order to enable the damage with Kevlar. And what that led to was there was now a ludicrous amount of durability loss with every single shot. And it came to the point where the SG would break armor in 2 bullets, the revolver would break armor in 1 bullet. And so guns that were damage-wise tuned to make 4 or 5 shot kills ended up making 3 shot kills with Kevlar on and 2 shot kills without Kevlar on, simply because Kevlar broke so quickly. Hi, this is me from the edit. I literally forgot my favorite way of showing this whole heavy Kevlar debacle armor durability loss thing. So the MP7 previously was like the most satisfyingly balanced gun because it dealt 30 damage without Kevlar, 10 damage with Kevlar, and so the 20 damage in between are Kevlar durability loss. That makes it very easy to show and calculate. So we're starting at 100 HP, 50 armor, which 50 armor was max durability at that point, which also incredibly stupid, but I digress. Basically, the first shot takes you down by 10 HP and 20 Kevlar, down to 90 HP, 30 Kevlar remaining. The second shot does the same thing, 80 HP, 10 Kevlar. Then the third shot breaks Kevlar and leaves you with 70 HP because, you know, Kevlar was still a thing when the shot impacted. This also applies hit flinch because, you know, that's just what happened at that point. Now the fourth shot deals 30 damage because you don't have any Kevlar to take the brunt of the impact anymore. So we now have an SMG that deals like 30 damage per shot. Like, right after a gunfight started against a fully armored opponent, like, less than a second after. That's a bit ridiculous. That means the fifth shot takes you down to 10 HP, and the sixth shot is what kills you. That word is very difficult. Sixth shot. So, you're dead in 6 shots by a, like, $1,700 SMG that starts off dealing 10 damage. An SMG. Like, you can imagine how bad the SG was. And again, it's very much something that we can criticize, just how long this was just, like, not really ignored, but I don't think most players grasped just how much of a problem this was, and so there was very little push for developers to revisit this sooner. And this is also a big factor of why I think, despite all of the problems that it brings, enabling PC and more input methods is ultimately a very good thing for the game. Because developers aren't like primarily mobile players for the most part. Like there are a few, right? But like if you develop mobile games by day, you're not gonna sit there and play mobile games while you're off the clock. I think that's very rare. Like it's also probably most people that are developers now are in their 30s or in their 40s. Like some rare ones are like in their 20s, but the majority of people that are like professionals in that field are older. And when they grew up, there was no mobile gaming. There was like Snake, maybe, if you're lucky. But there was no like playing Clash Royale or having like some other level of like shooter proficiency on a touchscreen. And if you're developing a game on a input method that you're not comfortable with, it's very hard to judge whether a certain feature works or doesn't work based on your own shortcomings or because it actually doesn't work. And the fact that there's now mouse and keyboard support allows more people and more of the developers as well to play the game on their preferred input method, or at least one that they are more proficient on, which in turn gives them better feedback. Because I've been asked in the past, like, what gives you the motivation or what gives you the inspiration to like make videos about like what's wrong with COPS, and the obvious answer has always been I play the game. and I play something, and I just realize patterns, and I just realize, hey, this might be problematic, or I die to the same bullshit like 8 times, and I'm like, okay, yeah, there's probably a way to do this better. But developers were mostly locked out from that process simply because if you're not comfortable with the input method, you can't really judge whether something's actually broken or whether it's just your own skill issue. And as I said, input method update has kind of rectified that discrepancy, I guess. So that's all well and good. But let's spend another few seconds talking about the next things that I would do in COPS. We might look into those more deeply. What the fuck are you doing here? On another occasion, but for now, there's one thing I really want to give, which I think is the most problematic thing currently, because it causes Pico's advantage, or it exacerbates Pico's advantage that already exists because of like shortcomings in, you know, just how server I can't aim today, with how like server infrastructure and all that shit works, especially even more so in mobile. So what we're talking about is basically how you return from movement to standing accuracy. Because right now, I can just run here, and while I'm shooting, just stop moving, and then I'm accurate. Like, without ever letting go of my shoot button. That was a very exaggerated example, but this allows me to basically pre-fire angles while I'm still on the move, on the side of the person that I'm peeking. So, I peek someone, and on their screen, I'm still moving, but on my screen, I'm already standing. And that discrepancy makes it a lot harder to hold angles because you're always shooting at moving targets, while the guy that's peeking is peeking into someone that's most likely standing. The fact that this hasn't led to the game being T-sided as fuck shows just how C-sided maps were, and still are in some cases. So this is the number one thing I would work on, because it exacerbates the advantage of ping, it exacerbates Pico's advantage in general, makes it less important to work on proper crosshair placement, because between the time where you're swinging on your screen and by the time your enemy can actually react and adjust onto you, you have tons of time to actually adjust to where you're supposed to be aiming, rather than basically being forced to already have your crosshair there. So the fix for that would be very simple. I mean, I can show you. I don't have a... Do I have a dynamic crosshair? Wait. So basically, what would need to happen to fix all of that would be... Look at my crosshair, the way it is right now. If I'm peeking around a corner, the crosshair, the dynamic crosshair, the way it currently stands doesn't mean shit. Because I can still have the crosshair spread out and I'm still accurate. If I could aim. Like, the crosshair isn't the issue, the accuracy isn't the issue, I just can't aim for shit. So, what would need to happen is that you add a delay between moving and stopping to move, where you're only accurate, effectively timing-wise, once that crosshair is back together. That doesn't look like much. I've recorded a proof of concept for this years ago. I would need to check if it's still accurate. I think it is. Which effectively forces you to have a little cooldown between peeking and being able to accurately shoot. Do I think this is single-handedly going to fix Pico's advantage and all of those shenanigans? No, but I think while CS has counter-strafing, which keeps some of those advantages a bit more in check, COPS doesn't have that. I'm very glad that we don't, because just implementing counter-strafing would be stupid. It's a PC mechanic. You would end up just having everyone play with like 2 fingers on their joystick or something stupid. Like, that's not a future that I want for the game. But basically forcing people, rather than going from here to here, just allowing them to one-tap the frame that they let go of their joystick, you would force them to go around the corner, wait, and then shoot. It's only like 4 or 5 frames on 60 FPS, so it's not a considerable amount of time, but it definitely makes it more important to actually have good crosshair placement rather than always giving you the leeway to adjust to stuff on the fly. This is something that's very hard to explain as well, both as far as the benefits are concerned, as well as far as how it would affect in-game feel. It's just something that I hope we will get to see someday, because I am 100% convinced that it will fix certain issues that the game currently has. I can try to find some exaggerated examples as to why I think this is an important thing to fix. So, and that was a tiny bit of it. It would be more noticeable on the perspective of who I'm peeking, but that's not a luxury that I currently have. Like, I'm fairly convinced I still have the that old proof of concept somewhere on my hard drive. If I find it, I'll put it on screen right now. So what you should see is the player peeking and shooting immediately, and If I slow-mo that, you should see that I am being shot while the model of the person peeking me is still in full motion, while if I wait until the dynamic crosshair has properly closed, aka I've waited the sufficient delay, I've firmly stopped moving on the perspective of the player that I'm peeking. So yeah, that's kind of that. So that's the next thing I would do. I might make a video on this. I have made a video for this privately, and I've also posted it to my Discord server, so if you want to see it right now, you can go there. I made that like half a year ago. I might make a more polished version for YouTube eventually. That's all up for grabs. I'm not really sure on what I'm going to do in general, YouTube-wise, what I'm going to do next. Like, I have a bunch of things already recorded that are cool content-wise. There's a few things that I want to talk about as well, but I'm not sure in which order, at which scale, or in which format I'm gonna touch on each. So I guess that's just something you're gonna have to wait for. If you want like regular updates as to what I'm working on, join my Discord server. That's always a good idea. And also, that also kind of happened while I've been gone. There's a new creator code system. So instead of having Code PHiNiX in-game, there is now the Critical Ops hub and Webstore. On the hub, you always pay less for your credits, and you pay even less, another 10% less if you use code PHiNiX10. So that is something that you should do. And there's also daily rewards in there, so you should probably open this whole thing like once a day anyway. And if you're looking to buy credits, if you're looking to buy skins on the marketplace, if you're looking to buy any of the cool special offers, yeah, use code PHiNiX10. Doesn't cost you extra, actually saves you money and gives me a cut, so what is there not to love? Anyway, I haven't uploaded in a while, so this is, yeah, I have to thank you for still caring about this channel, for still being here, and I appreciate you. I will not let you on a dry streak like this again, probably, maybe. You shouldn't make promises you can't keep. So, thank you very much for watching, and see you with the next video.